I'm Joyce Hornady. You might say accuracy is my business. I make bullets.
You are listening to the Hornady Podcast.
Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Hornady Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Swerczek, and today I've got the Assistant Director of Engineering. I've got awesome PRS shooter, NRL hunter competitor, and an amazing hunter, Joe Thielen. Joe, thanks for coming on the show.
Man, I'm good to be here again, Seth. It's that time of the year when we're busy, and I know you're you're stacked up, man. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. We did one of our first Hornady rifle builds videos with you, and it's one of our best performing videos, and that was your 280 Ackley, and that's a cartridge that the people as a whole just love. Now, it's not as easy to get one, and it's not as easy to get factory ammo and factory rifles to put it all together. But there's still an allure to the 280 Ackley, and that episode just did phenomenal. We've had several questions come in. You've answered it via email a couple times. But the overarching question that we get as it relates to the 280 Ackley build was if you could do it again, now with the advent of more suppressors, would you have chosen the 26-inch barrel length?
No.
What would you have gone with?
24 at the longest.
Yeah, we've gotten that question actually a ton,
Sure.
Where people like, why didn't you go with 20? Why didn't you go with 22? If you could do it again, what would you do? So you heard it here, 24 at the longest, probably flirt with the 22.
22 would probably be, I think that's just a great barrel length for a bolt-action hunting rifle.
Yep.
The suppressors nowadays are shorter, shorter, a little fatter, they're and efficient.
Yep.
So I would probably do that. I mean, I know you've got hunting guns that you've built that way, 7s and 6.5s, and you're a fan of the 20 to 22-inch barrels.
You go short. Actually, as it turns out, I've got a suppressor in jail that should be out any day now.
Mm-hmm.
And for the listener, you need to check these guys out. It's Airlock Industries. These suppressors are absurdly light and small.
Okay.
And the sound suppression is next level. I don't know how he does it, but he figured something out. And they are small, impossibly light, and they are quiet. And so I've got one of his 7mm that I'm going to use on my personal 7 PRC.
Yeah.
It is short. It is quiet. It's 1.7 inches in diameter, so a little bit bigger in diameter, but it's only 5.5 inches long. I think it comes in under 6 ounces, and it's rated for all the magnum you want to give it.
Sure, so that's perfect then. For a lightweight hunting gun, that's what you want.
Exactly. His 6.5 can, the Airlock 6.5 is, I want to say it's like 4.5 inches long, maybe
Really?
5 inches. I think it's 5 inches and 4.5 ounces. Again, impossibly small.
That's tiny and lightweight. That's not even as long as my hand.
Wicked quiet. So
Wow.
Airlock Industries, check those guys out. Joe, to completely shift gears and get away from the ultralight, short barrel 280 Ackley hunting rifle with a tiny little suppressor, there have been people that want to know more about you and your sport. From the rifle side and the reloading side. Now, I think we should do an episode about the reloading because as it relates to the Hornady the Precision Rifle Series tactical division, that is a reloader's sport, in my opinion. If you want to maximize what you can do within the confines of the rules of tactical division, I think you really need to hand load, and you've got that part figured out. But this episode is all about this big rifle sitting right here. It anchored the table down, and this is your personal PRS rig that you are dominating the tactical division in. And we're going to talk about the dominance. We're going to talk about where that's going to go. We're going to talk about why you don't have a golden bullet. But we're also going to talk in detail about why you selected the components that you did that makes you have that edge in the tactical division.
Okay.
So we'll get to the accolades and the performance after. Let's dive into the build, though, because this is a really cool build that you're, from the outside looking in, you might just think generically, this is just what all PRS guns look like. And to that, you're probably right. But there are reasons why some of the decisions were made specific to the tactical division, and you're shooting a 308. So let's talk through high level first. Why 308 for the tactical division instead of 223?
So why 308? That's super easy for me. There's a lot of guys out there that shoot 223, but the IPRF, International Precision Rifle Federation, if you're going to try to shoot the world championships, which are even years every other year, and they move around, obviously, around the world, you have to shoot 308. So for me, when it was a choice was made, like, look, want to try to make Team USA, that's going to be a goal, it was you had to shoot 308. So that's what started this, obviously, I don't know, endeavor, if you will, into learning
crusade
more than
almost.
crusade, yeah. Learning more about the old 308 Winchester than I thought I ever wanted to or knew about the 308. So, yes, that's what drives 308 caliber.
Okay. So because for the 223, you know, if you split the nation in half, if you go east of us here in central Nebraska, I would make an argument that you could make a good showing running a 223. Generally, the ranges that you'll host a match at, you'll have some targets, to 1,000 and beyond, but just the topography and the density of the trees and stuff as you get east of us, I think a lot of those shots are going to be a little bit more controlled distance-wise, a little bit more box range, square range kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I think a 75-grain ELD match, almost up to the speed limit in a 223, would be really tough to beat. However, when you go west of us, things get bigger, more open. Obviously, you get these huge ranges, these big canyons, and now you're facing different wind gradients and all kinds of crazy stuff going on just with the topography. And that's where I think these big, heavy 308s really shine.
Yeah, they do better. I think I agree with you. I think they do better out here as well in the wind and the ranges and matches that we host out here.
So from the 308 standpoint, it was an easy selection for you because you're trying to compete not just at the national level, you're trying to compete at the international level of tactical rifle shooters. And that's a big deal. And so it was an easy decision. You go with 308. Tell us about what bullet powder combination, what you're using for your recipe here as far as powder, primer, and bullet. And then we'll dive into the build.
Yep. So the ammo is pretty straightforward. It's a Hornady case with Federal 210 primer, obviously Varget.
Yeah.
And then you put a 176 A-tip on the top of that. That 176, I think, is probably the best bullet to shoot in that limited or tactical division. I have shot some of the 174 ELD VTs.
Yep.
And they work great too.
Yeah. So you won with those.
100%. Yeah. They're tit for tat. I like the consistency of that A-tip. I mean, you've shot them. They're something
magical.
They are. They're a special bullet. They really are. So
okay,
that's the recipe. That's a pretty standard recipe for 308. I mean,
you throw.
I think
Varget
I got it
there.
from you, Seth. Like, hey Seth, how many grains of Varget did you put in there?
Oh yeah,
about 43. Okay, I'll start there.
Yeah, that was the old school recipe that always worked with the 178s. But when you go with the A-tip, Joe, you talked about the consistency. You're going to get consistency from, certainly the ELD match family with the heat shield tip and the drag variability reduction technology. What that aluminum tip can do is it stretches out, and you've got that DVRT that we talked about. When you stretch the legs and the time of flight gets longer and longer and longer, and with the old NATO potato, that's a pretty long time of flight to 1,000. Yeah. Those groups are going to be smaller on average just by going to the A-tip.
Yes.
And there is something magical there. We've got a listener and a friend of ours, Mason McNeil, out in Utah, that unfortunately, he's messaging me, unfortunately, my 6BRA pounds knot holes with 110 A-tips, and I shot him for a match, and now I can't go back. And it is like that. When you finally shoot them and you dial them in, you're like, oh my gosh, there's something here.
Exactly, yes.
So the old NATO potato, let's talk about it from the beginning. Talk us through the choice on the action.
So that's a Impact 737. I went with that action just because they're uber reliable, right? Like they feed and function, and they're smooth and they're fast all the time. Like
dirty, clean, gunked up.
Yeah, out in the moon dust of the Hornady PRC to wherever you might be, right? And we use those in our test lab downstairs. We put them on our accuracy barrels just because of the precision of, we don't need obviously that robustness downstairs. It's a lab environment, but we use the precision machining. But after using them and seeing the amount of rounds we can put on those actions, and they just hold up. They just take it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I want in a rifle, that I'm going to have to just shoot and shoot and shoot.
All the parts, extractors, the ejector, the bolt stop, all of that, purpose built for unrelenting consistency.
Yeah, from the reliability standpoint, they're awesome, and then also the headspace dimensions of them, they're all the same. So you can swap. I mean, I swap barrels on and off, this gun all the time, and I love that repeatability. It's so easy to machine the barrels and headspace and everything. So they just do a great job at impact. That's why I went with that one. It's reliable and robust, and it works all the time.
Love it. Now, while you were offset, you didn't see me running this bolt back and forth. Do you have an estimate of how many rounds are on this thing? Because this is ice on glass. It is incredible.
I don't, Seth. I know that
between yes and many.
Yes and many. I know that I can tell you because obviously it was a
6
GT. It was other cartridges before it was a 308, but I know 308 in the past 2 years has between 8,000 and 10,000 rounds of just 308 on it. So
it's broken in well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Now, attached to that receiver is something I haven't seen in years. What trigger is pinned into this thing?
I get questions on that all the time. That's an old Jewel HVR. It has got thousands of rounds on it, but I love the way the Jewels break. Always have, and that trigger has done me so well. I try to take good care of it, but I cannot swap out what isn't broken, and I like it, and it works so well. So that's a Jewel HVR.
Yeah, and you've been shooting those from back in your bench rest days.
100%, yeah, for years. I mean, I don't even know how long I've had that trigger. A lot of years. So
well, it's a gooder. Again, when you were offset, I thought about touching the trigger, and then it went off. I didn't even look. I just looked at it. I gave it the eyes. Pow! There she goes.
Should be about a pound.
A pound,
a little less than
half a pound.
Maybe a little less than a pound, but it is about maybe 3/4 of a pound. 10, 12 ounces.
Yeah. All jokes aside, I think that's a pretty standard trigger pull weight. Some of us, like Miles, for example, he runs a really heavy trigger. Jaden runs a pretty heavy trigger. Preston behind the camera, you running 10, 12 ounces. Yep. And I feel like any lighter than that is probably asking for trouble, in my opinion, potentially, depending on your environment or whatever. But, man, you start banging stuff around, slamming into barricades and stuff, and you get to ramming stuff, you could end up laying your finger on a trigger a little soon. And
ruining your whole match. So, no, that's why, I mean, I know guys that run lighter than that, but there's no way I'm running lighter than a pound.
Yeah, and those Jewels, it is just... there's no creep, and then it breaks like glass.
I know. Yes, I love those. So, yes, that's an old school Jewel trigger, Seth.
I love to see that, though. And it's kind of got a bad reputation over the years, but you say you take care of them, which you do. You clean and lube and do all those things. But you're not nice to it particularly. Like when you go to the Hornady PRC you mentioned, that dirt is like baking flour. It's a flour texture.
Yep.
And it is everywhere.
Yes, it is.
And you've not experienced a failure.
Nope.
So, like there, proof's in the pudding. Like you said, you can't fix what's not broken.
That's correct.
I like it.
The 6mm GT. Get the competitive edge and the eye of the tiger. Designed from the very beginning to be an amazing all-around precision rifle competition cartridge. Available in the Hornady Match ammunition line with the 109-grain ELD Match bullet. When the competition is on the line, trust the proven pedigree of the 6mm GT from Hornady.
All right, so on the other end of the receiver, you've got a barrel threaded on there. Talk to us about what you're running for barrels. I say barrels plural because I know you've got more than one 308 Winchester barrel.
Yep. This barrel that's on it is a custom rifle barrels from Austin and Oklahoma. We also have a lot of, and I run some, the Bartland barrels from Frank up in Wisconsin. They're both, we use those in our test lab. They're phenomenal barrels. So this one is a CRB. I have Bart lines for it. I shoot them interchangeably. I like them both. Both of those guys are great friends of mine. Obviously, I shoot with Austin.
Yeah.
And they're the level of consistency and accuracy and extreme velocity spreads and all those have just been phenomenal, no matter what caliber, not just 308s are great, but not just a 308. You can put a 6mm or 25 or 6.5 on there. Those have been really good. So this one's 26. This is a CRB 26-inch CRB comp contour, he calls it. It's inch 250 for like 5 or 6 inches, and then it tapers down to 1.1 at the muzzle at 26. So.
Yeah, just to reduce some of that weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take all the weight you can get with a 308 because there's no shortage of recoil there compared to the open
Right.
guns.
So big, long barrel, 26 inches,
Yep.
heavy contour. Are you running a specific twist rate for those 176s? The 308 standard Sammy's a 12. You know, back in the day, 11 1/4 was the magic twist rate for the, the tactical match reamers and stuff. And then, the 1 in 10 wasn't horribly uncommon either. What are you running for twist?
I run a 12 in all of them. Never ran anything but a 12. We're limited to 178 grains, and there's no reason with a 178 grain 30 caliber bullet that you would run anything faster than a 12. Guys do, and they're having success doing it. And I'm not trying to get them to change. I'm just saying that you do not need to have a faster twist. So I run a 12. Never had any issues with a 12, and I'm going to continue running a 12.
Awesome. That's an important point. I'd love for you to dive a little bit deeper into that as far as what some potential problems could be from running an excessively fast twist. I know Jaden has talked about it on the show a bunch, and we talked about it in various forms on the show. Is probably, would justify its own episode, just an episode on, we already did a whole episode on gyroscopic stability and dynamic stability. But talk to us, if you go with something like a 9 twist or an 8.5 twist on bullets that you don't need it, what that RPM can do if you've got, maybe inconsistent bullets. What's that look like?
So yeah, the harder you spin the projectile or the faster you spin them, any tiny imperfections on that projectile are magnified, just like an out of balance tire. Think of it that way. So that's number one. So precision could suffer.
Yep.
First and foremost.
On the average, if everything was equal, if you had a 12 and a 10, if everything was equal and you took out all the variables and the barrels were identical, the slower twist that still achieves dynamic and gyroscopic stability will produce better dispersion on the average.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. And then the other one that I think is big, especially in the game, part of it is a faster twist rate equals more torque on your rifle. So I know these guns are heavy and everything, but still, I mean, the least I can upset the rifle during firing, I have the ability to see more through my scope.
Right.
So I would prefer to stay with the slower twist rate as I can.
That makes a lot of sense. And one of those things that is specific to the tactical division, that was a choice for the tactical division because when you look at 6mm, it's going to be a 1 in 8 or a 1 in 7 or 7.5. It has to be. Yep. In this case, you're already into a slower regime of twist rate, even though the calibers per rev is about the same. But going from a 10 to 11 1/4 to a 12, again, all the weight in the world on the rifle is helpful, but it's still a 308.
Yeah, it still
cooking
moves.
off a good charge of Varget, not 26, 7, 8 grains of Varget in a little dasher case. It's
correct.
Nearly double that in a much larger case. So the recoil game is hyper important.
Correct.
That's awesome. Yeah. Little details like that truly mean a lot. And there seems to be some misinformation, again, that we could probably have a whole nother episode on about if you spin all bullets, if you spin them faster, you will lower the drag. And we've really seen on the Doppler, there are cases of that, like our 180 ELD match is a good example. That bullet is a country mile long, and the difference between an 8 3/4, 8.5, 8, 7.5, and a 7, you see a difference in the drag. But for most bullets that aren't super long, that excessive twist rate really isn't gaining much, if anything, of demonstrable lowering of drag.
Correct. Yes.
So, I feel like people just have read something somewhere and now assume that for all bullets, I have to spin the heck out of them.
It's a blanket statement and applies to everything. When it's like, hold on here, let's take a look at the actual components we're going to use and then see if that's applicable here. And in this case, they're just not that long. They're 176 grain 30 cals.
It's a sexy 30 cal, but it's not a...
Yes, but it does not look like a 6.5 153 or 25 138 or 6 110 or something like that.
Yep.
Totally different animal.
Now, going back to the recoil on this hog, you got a big old muzzle brake. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's the new Ace Max brake.
Okay.
So I've ran, and I have just the standard Ace brake on it, but we did some, Austin was up here, it's been a while ago, but he did some high-speed footage and wanted to look at things, and that's the culmination of his development and everything. And he's like, hey, since you do shoot 30 cal, shoot this. Give me feedback on it. So I have it on there and shot it. And so far, I haven't shot it a lot because obviously it's new.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I like it, Seth. It does a really good job of taming down the recoil and helping with, torque and all those things. Yeah. But yet I don't get a concussion and a blast in the face like a lot of these hyper aggressive brakes. I mean, it is angled ports and stuff, but it's not super aggressive. So far, I do like it.
That's an important note. I feel like, when I first got into muzzle brakes on precision rifles, it was like you got in a car wreck at the end of a 2-day match.
Yeah, I felt like you just got punched in the face a bunch of times. And I don't like, I've shot guns my whole life, and I'm to the point now where I just don't want to deal with that.
Yep.
So I really like those brakes for that. Great efficiency, do the job, but yet they don't beat you up, throughout the day and at the end of a 1-day or a 2-day match.
Yeah, little things like that. But you do got to manage the recoil because, again, that 308, we talk like it's some recoil hog, like it's this big magnum, and it's not. But when you're trying to catch that bullet come out of the muzzle and watch it the entire way to the target, every little bit helps. And when you're used to shooting little 6s.
Yeah, boy, that was a transition and a half.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Thank goodness I had shot a lot of 6.5 too, 153s. But anyway.
Yeah. So that's the barreled action. That's what makes this thing tick. And what makes this thing useful, you got to put a barreled action into something. This is the stock. This thing is huge. Talk to us about foundation stock.
So that's John Kyle's Foundation Samson stock, and I've shot a lot of different stocks. I've tried a couple of chassis that guys have had. I know they're popular and guys love them, right? They just didn't work for me, and that's why we have choices. But anyway, this stock, what I like about this stock is, number one, it's a stock and it fits my hand really nice in the pistol grip area. It's just relaxed when it's there.
Distance to the trigger is critical.
Short for me, yeah. I don't have that big of hands, so that really works well for me. The second thing that I really like is these stocks, they shoot dead, right? But what I mean by that is when you squeeze the trigger, and you could even do it in dry firing, and it just goes snap. There's no ting, there's no ding,
no vibration.
No vibration, and it does the same thing when you shoot it too. It's just boom, and it just dead. So it helps with recoil. I think it helps me with spotting shots.
Okay.
Because there's not any little vibration going on. So that's the reason why I shoot it. And then I love the balance of these. You can see where I've cut this Arca rail out of here, like milled it out. So this will ride the bag right in front of the mag well. The balance point of this stock is probably, 3 or 4 inches in front of the mag well.
Right where it should be.
Right where the bag, yep. And I do like that. So that stock just it makes positional shooting for me easier, and I can see more. So obviously for the gaming part of it, that stock I felt gave me the best chance for success, especially with a 308 and managing the recoil and all the stuff. So long story short, Foundation Samson with the full brass weights in it. Now I don't have anything special in it, like it's factory, so to speak. Other than that, I did a little milling to it because I wanted the full length Arca. I want to take that out and I want to ride my bag right on my stock.
So these brass, they're going to be a little bit heavier. So just add some weight.
Yep.
You have weight inside the barrel channel?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. They're just here, and then this Arca piece has a brass where it was obviously attached to the stock, so that's all the same.
Yeah. Well, it is big. It's heavy, but like you said, it is comfortable. It's just one of those things when you lay down on it, your hand is right where it should be.
It is.
Trigger's right where it needs to be, and then manipulating it, getting into awkward positions, man, you slap your bag down, 8-pound sandbag, set that rifle in there, you just as well be shooting prone.
Yes, positional, and that's one thing we do practice, obviously, is positional versus prone shooting and stuff. But yeah, it works so good to do that. So
I like it.
I'm really a fan of that stock.
Yep, and John Kyle and his wife Amy and the whole Foundation team, they took the world by storm with their stocks, making them out of the material that they do, the unrelenting quality that they have. And, you know, you mentioned earlier in the podcast talking about Austin making great rifle barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it helps that Austin is a great competitor. He knows what he's looking for because he does it.
Because he does it.
And same thing with John Kyle. He knows what feels good. He knows what works because he does it.
Yes, he's out in those matches shooting. He's talking to people. He's hunting. He's got kids that are shooting. Yes, it's the whole package. So
I like that. So got your name on here with the Hornady H.
He did that. I didn't even ask him to do that. That's John Kyle doing his thing. So.
Yeah. Well, he's also got a sense of humor because Preston behind the camera has, I'm not sure if it's a Samson, but he does have a PRS stock. And instead of, you know, # Lentfer, his says # edge hit.
That's good stuff.
Just a joke, because how many times you go to a match and you hear 87 people say, "Oh, that was an edge hit." And in reality, there may be like one per match ever.
Yeah, they're so. I mean, I just shot a little one-day deal on Saturday, and I spotted because a lot of the guys were new, so I spotted every single shot that went downrange. You know how many a true edge hit that I saw? One.
Yep.
Like a true, you know, it caught the edge and went over there.
Yeah.
One. And that's however many
hundreds of shots downrange.
Hundreds of shots.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Preston liked to embellish that because, you know, you hear it all the time. And so, anyways, it's a great looking stock. Love the color. Obviously the function. What I also like, the aesthetics. It's got to function well, but it's got to look good. And I like the little, you know, I would almost say NV hood, the night vision hood, but you're not attaching anything. Is that just to look cool, or do you put your hand up there?
Yep. So what the little shield or hood over the barrel does, some guys are, you either shoot with your, hand over the scope, which I have the diving board. That's how I prefer to do it. But there are times on certain barricades where you can't do this. So you'll put your hand out there, and the last thing you want to do is pinch your barrel.
Yep.
So this little thing on here, you can do it on the shelf, but they built this so you can put your hand up there and never, you know, pinch your stock in your bag, but never touch your barrel.
I am in that camp. I do a little bit of the wedge on the scope, but for me, if I can grab the bag and pinch my thumb on the stock, I don't even have to touch the rifle with any other part of my body now.
Drive it that way.
Drive it and break clean shots. But it does look cool, also functional.
Take your priming process to the next level with the Hornady VersaPrime Bench Priming Tool. Engineered for reloaders who demand speed, precision, reliability, and safety. The Hornady VersaPrime Bench Priming Tool features tight machined tolerances, ensuring consistent and reliable performance. Made in the USA and backed by a lifetime warranty. The best of both worlds, precision and high volume. The VersaPrime Bench Priming Tool from Hornady.
Now, attached to the stock, we've got a couple accoutrements. Starting here, classic Velcro stage saver.
Oh, yeah, that's the probably Joe Thielen Hobby Lobby special Velcro. Yes, stick the little.
It pays to be a girl dad. You've got crafts laying around.
I do at the house. So, yeah, just put some glue on there, stuck that. I mean,
you got to have it.
I had it Saturday. I had a stinking round magazine, had to drop it. It falls out, so now I'm short around, and you need two there. So. Yeah, that helps out. That'll save you. That'll get you a point or two if you ever need it.
Yep. And in the world of me, okay, I lost a point, moving on. In the world of you're trying to compete at the international level, you need to win every chance you can, and that 1 or 2 points could be the separator of first and second.
And especially with a cotton picking 308, shooting against the open guys for the Team USA scores, I cannot afford to give up a point because I made a mental mistake.
Right.
Because you can't. Ballistically, you're already at such a disadvantage to those guys shooting a 308, and you're trying your score is based on a percentage of theirs. It's demonstrably hard if you're making, you know, mistakes and losing points.
Yeah,
it's hard enough the way it is.
Or if you're jamming the mag, somebody asks you a question, you answer it. I got 10 in there. No, you don't. You got 9.
Yep. We've done that. I've done that before.
I think I've done that at every match I've ever ran ever. Not ever. As the PR guy for Hornady, when I show up to a match, there's generally, you know, a lot of talking going on, and I try to give everybody all of my time, and I've done it a lot where you get up to the stage and I've gone Winchester, and that's a problem. So, definitely got to have the stage saver. Up front, ARCA. That seems to be, we've talked about it a bunch, the golden standard now. So you've got the ARCA rail. You trimmed it a little shorter. You got your balance right. let's talk bipod for a moment. What kind of bipods, I say bipods plural, not to be like Phil Vallejo, but do you run just this one, or do you got several in the stable?
This is my 6 to 9 Harris that I've had for, again, don't know how long, a lot of years, a lot of miles on that one. I probably should get a new one at some point here. And then I have a Skypod.
Okay.
And I have both those because sometimes you've shot at like Hornady or Cameo, and sometimes the up-down inclination, declination, and then target array, you need a bipod with more modularity to get you through the stage quicker. But I'll bet you I shoot 80% of the time I shoot this Harris.
Yep, just like Preston. The classic.
I like it.
Harris SBRM.
It's what I cut my teeth on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, standard Harris.
With the Area 419, it looks like. Arco lock, there we go.
Yep.
Beautiful. Now, coming back, this is also seems like a generic pick for us. We seem to always use it, but what are we running for bottom metal?
Hawkins bottom metal.
Yeah.
It's just super reliable, fits good. The mags always feed, they're rigid. You can load your bag, against the bipod. You can see how they just don't move. There's
magazines go in and out super smooth.
Yep.
And you're running a little barricade stop.
Yep.
Simple as that. And again, we talk about it almost in a cavalier manner because that's just what we use. Is we use Hawkins bottom metal.
I have it on all of my. Yeah. I even have it on my hunting guns. I might use their not like this, but their flush. Oh, it's so nice. So
yep. Andy, Nick, the whole team over there just doing a great job.
They do a great job. Yep.
And then for a magazine,
those should be MDT 12s.
All kind of ribs on this thing.
Yep. No binder plates, MDT 12s. I just have 12-round mags. I'm gonna shoot 10-round stage. Just load 10 in them. They feed well, but a lot of times I would rather have a 12-round mag and not have to use the 2 out of the stage saver with a 10-round mag. I just think it's faster and easier.
It is.
So
much faster.
That's what
and easier.
I do.
And these magazines, of course, are not cheap, but neither are the 10-rounders. So if you're going to buy them, just get the 12.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So I've had really good luck with those mags. I really have.
Awesome. All right, moving up now. Okay. Before we get to the optic, you've got other stuff on the optic. Now, the viewer won't really be able to see this.
Oh, yeah.
But you're doubled up here on the level. Let's talk about this level right here that's secured to your Picatinny rail.
Yep. So that's the MDT send it level, electronic level, and then I also have, I know it's on the backside over here, I have the bubble level as well on the scope. And the only reason that I have that is just for redundancy. What if a battery goes dead or I'm in a position where I can't see one or the other? The lion's share of the time you use the electronic level just because it's so fast.
Well, in your auxiliary eye, your left eye.
Exactly. Your left eye.
Green? Send it.
Green, yep. So that's why I have that set up like that. But sometimes I like to have the bubble level on there just because it's me. I mean, redundancy. It costs me nothing to have it on there.
Right. Yep, exactly. So these send it levels are pretty handy. I've never personally ran one, but it seems like with a 308 Winchester specifically, or a 223, when you're running tactical class, in the open is probably not as big of a deal, but those small errors, if you're canted, those small errors add up. And when you're already ballistically at a disadvantage, every little thing can help.
That's one thing that I've really had to be disciplined on with a 308 because it takes so much more come up to get to, distance.
Yeah.
That if you are canted, you will miss targets. Like, end of story.
Yep.
So I've had to become far more disciplined with that.
Yep. So the send it level, very important. Now we'll kind of work our way up here, talk about the mount, and then we'll get into the optic.
Yeah. So that mount, I've been using it for, like a year now. That's the Dave Preston's Gray Ops mount.
Sponsored guy, Dave Preston. I heard he's a good shooter.
He's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I was talking to him at the Hornady match one time, just visiting, and I saw that mount on another guy's. I was like, hey, that looks like a really nice mount, and we like to support, obviously we've talked about this before, I like to support all of our guys and different guys in the industry. We're friends with everybody, right? So I talked to Dave Preston and got that mount, a few weeks later, and I've been running it ever since, and I've been extremely happy with it. I am yet to have, knock on wood, but I am yet to have a zero shift with that mount.
Perfect.
Like some guys will talk, hey, it changed 2/10 or whatever. I've not had one so far.
These big, kind of mono mounts, historically you'd see the cantilevered ones for ARs, but in the precision rifle world, you saw 2 separate rings on a scope base, but now these things are kind of the standard. MBT, Gray Ops, Hawkins,
Spur,
there's spot, Spur, all kinds of them out there. So that's what you went with. Now, let's talk about the telescopic sight on top of this thing, and not just what it is, but why it is what it is. Tell us what you're running.
That's an older one too. It's a Night Force ATACR 735 with the Mil C in it. F1 first focal plane.
Yeah,
mil.
Not in minute of angle, Joe.
No, I know it's in mils.
So let's rewind the clocks. Not that long ago, and that was
cut my teeth on minutes, man. What can I say?
Well, we all probably did.
Back in the debts, and it was...
Well, and it's a finer unit of measure, too, so for your previous competition stuff, it made sense.
But I don't remember, when I was growing up, hunting and shooting, I'm sure mil scopes existed. I'm sure they did.
Mil reticles did.
I don't remember them, Seth, let alone an F1.
That's because their turrets were still in MOA.
Those were, and that was a disaster in itself. But anyway, so, yes, I've converted to mils. It's better for this game.
Everybody's talking the same language.
Yep.
So... Attacker 7 to 35. Walk us through the choice of 7 to 35 and not say 4 to 20, 5 to 25. Why did you go with that big one right out of the gate?
735. The 5 to 25s are great too. You can use those. They cost very similar amounts to a 7 to 35. Why not get a 7 to 35? And if you need it for zeroing or there's no mirage and you're shooting, long distance and you want to crank it up, it costs you nothing to have the power really on the front end. Yeah. So just got the 7 to 35s.
Okay. And where do you think it lives? From a competitive standpoint, I live 12. Preston probably 10 to 15. Mm-hmm. Where does this 7 to 35 live? Right? It's on 15.
So it probably lives about there.
Yeah.
It's hardly ever any higher than that. So 10 to 15 power is where it lives. The only time that will increase is if I have a prone known distance, like a KYL is a prime example. Oh, yeah,
those targets get small.
And they get smaller and smaller, and I really want to zoom in a little bit and try to see exactly where I'm hitting on the plate, and I'm in a stable position. Sometimes I will do that. Okay. But rarely does it go above 15 power. I mean, that's probably why it's on 15. It just sits right there.
Well, and I want to get your opinion on this. Preston brought this up in a podcast a few weeks ago. We're not optical engineers by any stretch of the imagination, but we have heard anecdotally that if you want your scope to live, say at 15 power, and you want it to be the best clarity, edge-to-edge clarity, contrast, all that it could possibly be, don't get a 3 to 15 and park it on max power. Get a 4 to 20, 5 to 25, because it's going to be in more of a sweet spot, whatever
park
that
it
means.
In the middle.
Yeah. Any truth to that you know of, or have you heard that? Do you believe in that? How do you feel?
Obviously, I've heard it. I've not experienced it, but I think with any time you get these super high end, Night Force, Leopolds, Vortexes, the really high end scopes, I think they're so good. You can run them at any power. Might it exist at the edges of the extremes? Maybe. I've not seen it, but then again, Seth, I don't run this scope on the extremes very often, so.
Good point. Well, if you are an optical engineer that's listening, let us know in the comments. Email us, podcast@hornady.com, or like I said, drop a comment in here. We have friends at these places. We should ask them, but
sure.
I was just curious on that. And the last couple things that I wanted to bring up that I forgot was, so on your Gray Ops mount, you mentioned you've got the bubble level on there and the diving board.
Yep.
Let's talk briefly about what the diving board is and why it's important.
Yep, the diving board for me it is simply a place for me to put my hand, a comfortable spot on top of my scope, to hold and drive the rifle in a positional bag stage. Yep. That's what I use it for. And I don't want to be pushed. I probably could push on this scope. They're built like a tank. I would just prefer not to do that.
I was going to say, so I have, before I had a diving board, would do that on the scope, and most of the time I never really perceived a problem.
Sure.
Could you lean on it enough to create a problem? You probably can.
Yep.
Same thing with me running the gun with a bag and pinching the stock, like the Sykes clutch that you can put on, the Manor stocks or in one of these here.
Yep.
Great way to keep your thumb off there. Can you put your thumb on that barrel hard enough to cause a problem? Probably. Could you put it on there and not cause a problem? Yeah. So that's just one of those things that in the heat of the moment, in the middle of competition, you don't want to, have a crazy amount of strength unknowingly and just bear into this thing, or like, I'm trying to get the last little bit of wobble out in this position, I'm really going to crank on it. Now you've created yourself a problem.
Yep.
So, the diving board, an inclusion that you're going to see in most places for the precision rifle sports, because it does give you a place to really clamp onto, and you're not worried about inducing some sort of deflection in the optic itself.
Correct.
Awesome.
Hornady Security Mobilus Safes. Discover the ultimate solution for safeguarding your valuable equipment with Hornady Security Mobilus Safes. Offering an innovative modular design, Mobilus Safes can be easily transported and assembled piece by piece in any room. Featuring a full square lock interior organizing system that maximizes storage space with countless storage configurations. Elevate your security with Mobilus Safes from Hornady Security.
So, this thing set up to win in the right hands. It's set up to win. Running 176s out of this particular barrel. How fast are these things running?
2720.
2720. And there is a speed limit in the tactical division.
It is 2800.
2800. So, you'd think, oh, well, I'll just get a 30-inch tube and I'll stoke this thing full of reloader 15.5 or something. You're going to hit the speed limit. And it's, but it's also careful balance, Joe. If you wanted to up your speed, try to flatten the trajectory and get the lag time in your favor for wind deflection, you're just going to increase the recoil.
Correct.
But there's a balance.
100%.
And you have to find what works for you. Just a quick question in that regard. Obviously you're aware of that, did that play any role in your load development of, hey, I could get another 50 foot out of it, but like Mahatma Gandhi once said, I could drink Diet Coke, but why? It's like, I just run them a little slower to lower the recoil and my accuracy still there?
That's a great question. I have ran them at different speeds and shot them at different speeds, but I am always going to go for precision first. I don't care if it's 2705 or 2725 or 2735. Don't care. I'm going to shoot the load that shoots the tightest in this rifle, and I've had umpteen barrels in between 27, let's just call it 05 or 10 to 2725. The 176s just shoot really, really well there.
Excellent. So it's an easy button. Yeah, you're aware of it, but it's not like you're trying to really balance the recoil. It's like that. We know that load shoots well. We're going to run that.
I've ran the math on running it. Let's just say you picked up 50 feet, and now you run them at 2760, 2770. The ballistic advantage, that bullet bleeds velocity so bad, out past 600 to 800 yards, it wouldn't be worth the extra blast and
recoil,
wear and tear on stuff.
Propellant, for gosh sakes.
It just wouldn't be worth it. So I run it where it shoots good and where that gun is going to function dirty, wet, dirt in it, whatever I want. I can't have primers falling out and cases sticking and all that stuff.
We've all seen that, and it's not pretty. Wheels start to fall off mid-competition. It's crazy. That's a heck of a setup. Now, Joe, I talked earlier at the beginning of the podcast about what you're trying to do. This isn't just you trying to shoot good in the tactical division of PRS. You're trying to compete at the international level. I have very little understanding, but I've learned a lot just talking to you about how that international team is selected. And I'd like you to expand on that, because it's not just like, you win every tactical match you shoot. You are ranked based on how you land against the open competitors.
Yes.
That's how that international team is selected. So let's talk about that.
So the United States will select 4 in the limited or the tactical, let's use those interchangeably, team. That is not just, hey, apply and we look at your resume and pick you. That is a score performance-based thing. And yes, you go to a match, you have to shoot, has to be a finale, you got to have 6 matches, they got to be qualifiers in different regions. There's a whole bunch of stipulations. Long story short, your team score, we call them team scores, but your score that you will get to put on your application is a percentage of the match winner's score, just like your PRS points, and your placement. So it's 50-50.
And not placement in your division.
And not in it's the whole field. So that's what I tell you. And I joke with our shooting guy, like Orgain, all the time. I'm like, you should try to go shoot a 308. You can never, at best, at the very best winning case, you're staying even with those guys. I considering a win if I lose 1 point to those guys on a stage. If they shoot a 10 and I shoot a 9 or an 8 to a 9, I'm like, oh, I won there, because very rarely. I'm trying to think of an example for you that I've shot a 10 and like Austin has shot a 9. Like you've gained a point on him. It
outside of just like gross mental errors.
Yes,
magazine problems, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So it is. So shooting a 308 has been very, very hard to compete, and especially mentally, right? Because I mean, you can do everything perfectly right and still miss the target because the wind changed by 3 mile an hour and you just didn't. I mean, didn't see
and 3 mile an hour. I mean, that's tough enough to feel.
Yes,
but let alone when you're in the middle of a stage, tunnel vision.
Yep. So anyway, it's been an extremely. It's hard. It's not easy to do. Guys ask me, "Do you like it?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I really don't. I'd much rather shoot a 25 Creed or something." But
there's something admirable about doing things that are difficult on purpose,
100%.
and to go in that endeavor. So you shot, let's say last year, your 2025 season.
Mm-hmm.
You made it to all the matches that you could,
mm-hmm.
and pretty well cleaned house for tactical division.
Yeah, I mean, in the PRS series. Have done well when you're just related to your tactical competitors.
Just PRS, yep. So every match you went to, first or second in tactical division?
Yes.
Never a third place tactical finish?
No.
Oh, no. Man, that's I would say there's a few people that could shoot a 308, and you were one of them.
Yeah. It's just another, I view it as, Seth, it's just another rifle and cartridge and bullet, right?
Yeah.
Bullet's going to get there. It might take it a little longer, and it might drift a little more.
Might take all revs of that turret.
Might take a few more clicks on the scope, but guess what? It's still going to, and you have to have that mentality. Otherwise, you're going to be like, shooting this thing, it recoils, it drops like a rock, all those things, and it's just negative. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got all the credentials in 2025. Now it's 2026.
Mm-hmm.
This is a international match year. What does that look like for you to get selected for the team, and are you set up to accomplish your goal?
So it's looking really good. The Worlds will be this September in Texas.
On the home turf,
Gravestone. Everybody in the world loves coming to the United States, and we all the U.S. guys, man, we want to go shoot somewhere else. But the rest of the world loves coming here because we have we are so blessed in this country with places to shoot and great ranges and different terrain and all the things that we love. And
places like Texas. They exist. You can go there. It's awesome.
Yep. And people love getting their guns in here. It's just, so I understand why. So we're hosting again. We did in 24. We're hosting again in 26. The application period ends, or the March 22nd. That's the end. There's no more matches that can count. There's 2 more qualifiers this year. And for qualifying matches, and there's a few other matches guys can shoot, and then it's over. The cards are dealt. And then after that, you'll fill out your application with all your scores on there, and then obviously the committee or the leadership within the USPRA will select the team.
Awesome. So it's shaping up that
it's crunch time.
Could be representing America.
Yes. I don't want to be the guy that counts my chickens, but yes, it's looking
favorable.
It's looking very favorable to make that team, yes.
Oh, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to hopefully see that come to fruition. I know how hard you've worked at it. Countless hours prepping cases, priming cases, the reloading, the rifle maintenance, keeping everything dialed in, just the mental geometry while you're on the stage of, you hear everybody else talking, I was holding 4/10. Like, well, add a mil to that, just that alone. So for 2025, the last thing I want to talk about is you finished the season, just cleaning house, didn't make the finale, no golden bullet. What happened there, Joe?
No, there's no tactical bullet. I got a bullet in a tactical bullet in 24. But, man, I had a hunting trip that got in the way of the finale. And at heart, man, Seth, I'm like you. I'm a hunter. And when those opportunities, and I think hunts of a lifetime, right? Zimbabwe hunting a buffalo that's on my dream bucket list.
You texted me and said, I saw all 5 dangerous big fives
in one day.
In one day.
It was, So that experience was awesome, and I just there'll be other PRS finales that I'll get to go to and hang out with people. Man, going to Zimbabwe, that may not come around again, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow, right? So I had to take that. So yes, I did not go try to get another bullet in tactical. I think I probably could. I was shooting really, really well. I think I could have done well, but
you got a Cape Buffalo.
I got a Cape Buffalo. So
Yep. I just wanted to get that. I knew the
I'll
answer.
be back in 26. How's that?
Sounds good.
I'll go back after it in 26.
I knew the answer, but I wanted the listener to hear some of that. What you preach it, I preach it. Everybody on the show has talked about it. That, man, we are shooters and hunters, and that was a tough decision. But like you said, that is opportunity of a lifetime to go hunt an awesome area for, an iconic, dangerous game animal. And, that we talk about it internally quite a bit. Like, those animals will hunt you back.
Yes.
You go to war with that animal. That's not just your gentleman's hunt.
You do, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've dreamt of that type of stuff since I was a young boy, right, growing up. And I don't know, I had to say, yeah, I'd love to go.
Well, I'd love to see you get the Cape Buffalo, checked that box, now represent America, in the precision rifle sports. I hope that comes to fruition for you because, again, you deserve it.
Man, I hope so too. That's going to be a responsibility and an honor, though. That's for sure.
Great. Well, Joe, is there anything else about, shooting tactical, about the rifle, about, the load, anything else that you want to talk to about the 308, the NATO potato, the good old 308?
Man, if guys are going to do it, it's a challenge. I've had a lot of people ask me at matches, and it's a challenge. And if you're going to do it, just get yourself some 308 Winchester brass, some Varget, and some 176s, and go shoot. I mean, the best thing you can do. I had to shoot this gun so much to learn how to shoot the 308 because it is not a 6GT or a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yep. I feel like there's a little changing of the guard, if you will, where a lot of people that came into the sport early on, 2010, 11, 12, 13 kind of time frame, everybody shot 308. And then, you saw the mass migration. Well, there's a lot of really good shooters today on the podium that came into the sport when, you buy a Creedmoor or you buy a Dasher or they never saw the other side of it, and so for them it might be a little bit more of a eye opener, to see, holy cow, and then you commit to it. We got Sam Singleton down in Texas, same thing. He shot 308 competitively now for a handful of years, and runs his first open match, and it's like you take the training wheels off a bike, put the turbocharger on there.
It is fun to go back and shoot open guns now. It is so fun.
Hopefully you can cross off the international piece and then go back to running open for a little bit. Give the next tactical guy a chance.
Okay, maybe, but I have been really enjoying shooting it. It's allowed me to meet new people, right? And hopefully this USPRA, experience will allow me to meet new people and make new friends and, share the knowledge in the industry and stuff. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's why we do this podcast, is to help people.
That's right. Yeah, I feel like, the generic, somebody asks you, why are you in business? And the generic answer is to make money. But, more than that, it's to progress the industry that we're in.
Yes.
And, shooting tactical, as much fun as you're having, it's also, think about the products that either have come to fruition or are in the pipeline, like the new product stuff, because, I noticed this, that, and the other thing, and I'm going to tell John Kyle, so the next time he makes a stock revision, he can put this in there. And there's just all kinds of stuff like that happen because you're using it.
Yep, absolutely.
Love it. Well, Joe, if there's nothing else about the 308, I appreciate you coming on the show, walking us through this thing, and sounds like you got some more shooting to do.
I do. I've got a few more matches, so appreciate it, Seth. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning into this episode all about Joe Thielen's ultimate 308 Winchester that he is dominating the tactical class in. Hopefully, in 2026, he gets the opportunity to represent America in the precision rifle sports. We appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.